needed three different directors to do a massive undertaking like this. The other amazing thing about it, 1,000 artists worked on this movie.
I thought it was a masterpiece. That was the word that came to me after it ended. A masterpiece. It was 100%, like you said. I loved every minute of it.
There's alternate all kind of alternate spiders throughout the Spiderman throughout the universe. It's 6 universes, and each universe has its own artistic style.
Amateur Girl and Fanboy present the Big Bad Glass Movie Review.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our channel. I'm Fanboy from Chiang Mai, Thailand, and this is Amateur Girl from somewhere near Hollywood. And today we'll be talking about a very excellent movie, I thought, Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse. The previous movie was Into the Spiderverse, and the next one will be Across the Spiderverse. Hopefully, they'll put the last one in 3D. Evidently, the first one was in 3D. But I watched it at home with my son back in 2018, and so I didn't get to watch it in 3D. And this one I went to IMAX, not in 3D, even though it looked like it kind of wanted to be. And then hopefully the last one will be. But either way, fantastic movie, unbelievable. I used the hyperbole when I saw it. I said, "Man, that's like probably the greatest animation movie ever made." And then I started reading other reviews on Rotten Tomato, and evidently a lot of other people are using the same hyperbole. The professional critics are saying the same thing. 3 directors. One, what's the guy's name? Joaquim dos Santos. He's the artist, I guess, behind the whole project because he's a storyboard artist. And then there was Kent Powers, who's a playwright, who's written a couple of great plays, and who I guess did the writing part behind it. And then there's Justin K. Thompson, who was a designer. So he did the production design. So you needed three different directors to do a massive undertaking like this. And also, the other amazing thing about it, 1,000 artists worked on this movie. For example, the Punk Spider-Man took them 2 years just to create that. Just the Spider-Punk. Right. And the guy who was in Nope is the voice behind the Spider-Punk. So I liked his attitude. I don't know why. He just had the punk attitude, as I've always have high respect for. Anything else about it? Of course, the voice actors are all great. It's just a marvelous film. The storyline. You thought at first, well, how are they going to continue this story? And is it just going to be some woke, thing going on? I mean, I could see the anti-woke trolls coming out against some of it, but I haven't seen that yet, which is like they have against the Little Mermaid. That's been pretty vicious, and I have not seen the Little Mermaid, so I can't even make any comments about it. But for this one, no, not too many, not too much has been said. Evidently, there's going to be a female with Haley Steinfeld. I think that's how you say her name, Steinfeld, who played the girl, Gwen Stacy. She's going to be spinning off into her own series of movies. So they're going to have a whole Spider-Woman thing going on. I don't know why they don't call her Spider-Girl, but I guess they call Spider-Man Spider-Man. So even though he's a teenager, I guess, and Spider-Woman is Spider-Woman, right? So that's interesting. And then, of course, there's all kind of alternate spiders throughout Spider-Man throughout the universe. There were 6 universes. Each universe. I'm not going to go into many spoiler alerts because it's this is kind of a long, convoluted story. Even though it's fairly simplistic to follow, it does have some twist. I'm wondering what happened to the Prowler, right? Prowler, all of a sudden, he just kind of dropped off a map. I assume he's coming back. That's Andy Samberg plays that part, or does the voice for that. But anyway, it's 6 universes, and each universe has its own artistic style. So, as a work of art, I would say amazing. Truly a fantastic piece of cinema. I can't. For me, I'm giving it 100% right off the bat. The critics gave it 95%. I don't know what the other 5%. There were a few They actually, and this is for the I flipped through the critics, the professionals, and the amateurs, or just the normal people who, as Amateur Girl likes to say, a real person, through the real people. I looked through their reviews, and the people who gave it like 1 or 2 stars, they didn't like it because it had that it had a part 3 coming. They wanted it. They wanted it resolved right now, and so they were pissed off. So this movie was fantastic. It's great, but I only give it 1 star because they ended it so abruptly. And I'm thinking, wow, that's amazing to take it so personally. So, other than that, I really can't say much more. I mean, I don't know a lot about animation, other than I know that this took a heck of a lot of work and time. I think that after they did Into the Universe and it got such good response, they started working on Across the Spiderverse and Beyond the Spiderverse at the same time. So they're working on Beyond the Spiderverse right now. So they're doing them both at the same time. So it's basically one big movie, but they said it was just too much. It was already running at 2 hours and 20 minutes. And what are you gonna have, a 5-hour movie? Which is okay. I could do it, but a lot of people can't. So I sat through Our Hitler. It was 8 hours long years and years ago when I was young and and healthy. But yeah, I don't know. I couldn't do that today. 5 hours might be a little long, especially without intermission. But other than that, fantastic movie. Highly recommend it. If you love animation, it's a must see. If you don't like it, even if you don't like animation, I think that it will hold your attention just because of the dynamic and absolutely extraordinary artistic talent behind it. The voices and everything else, and storyline and all that. So anyway, now what did you think, Amateur Girl?
I thought it was a masterpiece. That was the word that came to me after it ended. A masterpiece. It was 100%, like you said. I loved every minute of it. I liked the fact, actually, I loved the fact that they ended it to be continued, because I appreciate that they didn't try to pack it all into like one or two movies, 1 and 2. So I enjoyed every moment of it. And that's all I have to say about it, really. It was,
That's all
whether
you
you
have to
like,
say.
yeah, so good. Wonderful movie.
Wow. Well, I was going to say something else about it, was that it looked like to me at first, because I looked at the credits. I love to read the credits. Sony, of course, is a Japanese company, but they have they're very involved in the Hollywood and Los Angeles. I mean, even back in the 80s, near where I used to work up there in Los Angeles, there was a big giant Sony building right next to our building. So even back then they were around, even in the 80s. So they are very, very, prominent. And I understand from our brother that they will not even movies come like 8 or 9 months later to Japan than they do to America or Thailand or many other countries. We get them at the same time America does here. But all Sony movies open at the same time. Well, or a week, in this case, like a week later. I think it's opening June 16th in Japan, because it's a Japanese company. So you had Japanese money financing it, whatever the complicated finances are, with movies these days. And then Canadian, there's a lot of Canadian. I think a lot of this was made in Canada, in some studio in Canada. So
Interesting.
Canadian artist. And again, I didn't really look at the artists, 1,000 artists. So I mean, they probably rolled by, and I'm sure they probably from all over the world. Sometimes they got different little companies working on these big projects like this. And and the next one's coming out, I think, in 2024. So again, they've been working on it at the same time. So I think
It is. It's coming out in March.
Oh, good. Now the other ones should have come out last year around the same time. This one here, Across the Spiderverse, but because of COVID, they pushed it back an entire year. So that's the reason. So other than that, fantastic. I think this wraps up our review for today. And
well, I will say it was well worth that year. So it was worth going to the movies with the cinema full. So it was well worth it. I think they'd made the right decision for sure. Well, I mean, they know they made the right decision. It like surpassed how much they were planning for it to make. I think it was supposed to be 120 and they're like at 180 or something right now.
Oh yeah. So the finance boys knew what they were doing when they
Yeah.
made all these decisions, right? I get it. Okay, great. So I guess that wraps up our review, and we will get back to you next week, and we'll be talking about The Mother, or the week after. I'm not sure how this is going to plan out. All right. Good night or good day.
Game over.